Dr. Kelly Ray here, your inner critic tamer and mindset coach with strengthandsensitivity.com. So today I want to talk to you about how many of you have ever planted a flower garden. You planted the seeds in there and then you fed it some Miracle Grow and you went out and watered it when you're supposed to and set up a really good schedule for how you're going to cultivate and nurture and develop and build this beautiful flower garden. And somewhere along the lines, you've become so focused, so diligent, and so determined to grow this flower garden and not seeing evidence of the growth that you start to get a little frustrated. And in that frustration, because you're so focused on looking for the evidence of your success, that you accidentally reach one day and grab the weed fertilizer instead of the Miracle Grow for the flowers. So now you're starting to sprinkle weed fertilizer all over your garden, and weeds start growing like crazy. I share this little metaphor with you because this is true about life and about our goals and about our focus. How many of you have ever been so focused and so determined to meet a certain goal or an expectation for yourself in your life, and you put in a lot of hard work, you put in a lot of diligence, focus, discipline, and it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to, or maybe not in the time that you wanted it to? I know I have certainly come across that. And that's a really pivotal point, is when you're at that point waiting for the little sprouts of your goals to start manifesting, start showing themselves. Because all you do is keep going out and look, and all you see is dirt and no flowers starting to sprig. But then all of a sudden you start seeing weeds. These weeds are your doubts. These weeds are your insecurities. These weeds are your inner critic who are so eager to show you evidence as to why what you're doing is not working. That's a very pivotal time, because what happens is a lot of times is two things. We either overcompensate and become super, super focused, narrow visioned, refusing to ask for help because you become stubborn and you're going to make it happen, you're going to do it, and you're just going to push through it. Or you just quit altogether. And maybe the next day is when that little evidence of the flower comes out. I know recently I had that happen with my nephew. He's in college. He's getting ready to graduate from junior college, and he's applying for the local university here. And he's super focused, very self-driven and disciplined. And sometimes that can get out of balance with him. And so he's so geared towards wanting to go to the university, which is amazing. And he's got the grades and all of that to do that. But he's having to learn a new process. He's having to learn a new way of doing things, because the system with the university is different than the junior college that he's going to. And so because he's so focused, his vision has become so narrow that this is the only way he wants to do it, that any kind of thing that seems like a roadblock or a no, he's just becoming very tense and stressed and frustrated. And what happens when we become tense, frustrated? We start taking it out on other people. He got in a fight with one of his friends he's known since childhood. He's being surly with his parents. And worse than that, he's berating himself. And our inner critic will just do that. It'll create scenarios because we think we should have what we want when we want it, especially if we've put in a lot of effort to make it happen. And then we become very prideful and we become very stubborn, that we don't want to ask for help, or we don't want to take somebody else's advice or suggestions or experiences that might open those doors. It doesn't matter how good you are at something. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to have somebody else's experience, somebody else's opinion, somebody else's knowledge to help open doors. So as a result of this story that I'm sharing with you, my nephew finally reached the point after all of this explosion and outburst and frustration with himself and the process. He finally threw his hands up and said, I'm done. I give up. He wasn't giving up like failing. He was giving up. He was surrendering to his way was not working for him effectively. So he reached out and him and I had a conversation and we were able to work through some of the process, get him at least calmed down and refocused so that he can continue on his path. And within a few short days, he received a letter from the university that he was accepted. Yay! So I bring this point to you is wherever you are in your life right now, if you're feeling like you're struggling, you're feeling like you're pushing against the grain, you feel like you're doing everything that you should be doing to reach your goal and you're not there, I'm going to ask you to reach out and get in touch with me and let's have a conversation. Let's see if perhaps you might be at that point where you're starting to use weed fertilizer, which is not helping your flower garden grow at all. I hope this is helpful for you, and I hope that you have a great day. And please know I send you so much love.